All right.
Good afternoon, Chuck.
Hey, Keegan.
We're back from a very busy weekend, or a previous
Man,
weekend, I guess I should say.
I'm still riding my, wedding weekend glow. I was talking to Meg today. It was like normally like if you have a big, stressful, intense situation, like when you're closing a deal or you're doing a big acquisition or something like that, you're cranking and little sleep, lots of adrenaline. And then when it's over, there's usually this crash. But we haven't really crashed. We're just sort of gliding. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's nice.
What was your favorite part of the weekend?
It's totally. I can't. It's with an event like that, it's like
Yeah.
it becomes a meaningless question almost. It's just
Sure.
it was so. Obviously, I was much more in the moment after I was done with my toast. So any of my performance obligations had been discharged. And then it was just a blast. But the whole thing was, a blast. Going to the after party was a bit of a push.
I loved the after party.
Yeah, did you hang for quite a while?
Yeah, I think I stayed until almost 1:30.
Okay.
It was I won't yammer on too much on the wedding time, but me and Trisha and some others were outside outside for probably 2 hours just chatting.
Because you were smoking marijuana.
We did.
Yeah, no, I heard all about it. I think I had gone home. Bro, I had to get up at 6 to like pick up breakfast shit.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we had
Like,
people coming over at 9. So, and I thought it was going to suck, but it was like, I mean, it did suck, but I just had my, quadruple shot of espresso in my MOCHA Chino. And I was bopping around ready to go. And some people stayed till like 3:30
wow.
for the breakfast. Oh man.
All right.
I was like,
Breakfast
I got to go
shenanigans.
upstairs and like give the cat his pill. And I'm like, I fell on the sofa, closed my eyes, and I was just drooling, snoring. I heard the front door close, and I ran down to say goodbye, to be a good host. But it was a blast. Yeah, and you were a big help.
Well, thank you. We spent a good amount of time in the remodeled kitchen, and that brings me to, I guess, my first big topic, which was some useless kitchen gadgets. I think you have one that's very useful in that Soda Stream. I was pretty impressed with it, actually. I liked it a lot. I'm usually not a big seltzer water guy, but that was pretty good.
I hate the term game changer. I hate it. I hate when people use it, and I hate people who use it. But it's a total game changer. We didn't drink sparkling water when I was a kid. It wasn't a thing. The seltzer was something that the Three Stooges, shot in each other's eyes, in their shorts, and it came in bottles with those little chargers and a little, it had a lever that you pushed, and it was like a prop. But when I was living in New York, the first time, my brother Matt was living there too. He was going to school down there, and he did a sublet in the village. Was it in the village? I forget where exactly it was, but it was a really cool apartment, and the guy had he had this stuff delivered in crates in those bottles, just like the Three Stooges used to, fire. And it was like incredible. It's like, I understand why people from New York drink this stuff. And so then, we got addicted to sparkling water since then and spent a lot of money on it. And when you do that, you're like pumping a lot of plastic out into the environment because they come in these, it's high pressure. It's much higher pressure than soda or anything else. It's just super high pressure. So the plastic is thick. So yeah, you get a Soda Stream and you just, buy a couple bottles of plastic a year. And you pay for the cartridges, and you never run out. So it's great. And we drink. That's what we drink. We don't drink still water anymore. We just drink soda. So yeah, it sits proudly next to the coffee grinder and the toaster and my espresso machine and Meg's automatic Philips espresso machine, which I have given her because I don't like it.
So you bought that one and then obtained another espresso machine?
So, you can write a whole book about your relationship with coffee.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
More than like anything else, it's like, it is one of those things where when you get a bad one, it can really ruin your day. If you start off the morning with a bad coffee and you realize, especially when you get older, Keegan, that it's like, damn, this day I don't get to start over again with a really good cup of coffee. It's it becomes that important. Yes, when I got this machine, this Espresso, it's a professional-ish machine. Like you could open up a little coffee bar and you could use this machine and pull shots like all day long.
Name it coffee bar, like the cat.
No, I would go to sleep. Yeah, it would be the Bobo coffee bar or something. But I would go to sleep excited because I knew that when I get up in the morning, I could drink really good espresso from this machine. Once I figured out how to use it, and I'm almost there. My coffee's a lot better than it used to be since I have this machine. But that's like chapter 47 in the book of coffee when it comes to Chuck and Meg. We've made coffee every possible way. We had like automatic machines that would grind the beans on a timer, and then it would heat the water and brew it, and it would come out in a pot. So mostly what we drank was just like drip coffee, like normal people.
Yeah.
And it was fine. And then we put it in a carafe, and then we did other things, and then it was just pour overs for years in the thermos, and so it stays hot. And then I had one of those coffee cups that's it's a Bluetooth coffee mug on a little stand, and it actually keeps your coffee at a constant temperature. Yeah, that was totally twee. That was a gift from someone who also appreciated coffee. But yeah, no, I'm hoping that I'm done, quite frankly, because this really is. I mean, there have been many, many, many bites at the coffee apple throughout our lives, and I'm very happy with where we are now. And hopefully, it's like buying your last car. It's like this is the one that I'll give to my children when I'm dead. So hopefully this is it. It's a very great thing to own. Unlike many other things that I have acquired over the years that are completely useless in the kitchen. Do you have?
Yes.
Do you spend a lot of time in your kitchen? Do you cook, or do you do food prep? Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I do. I spend a decent amount of time in there. So, I've been kind of on a healthier food streak in maybe the last 3-4-ish months now. And I think availability of
does that mean you're it's the single serving bag of Doritos as opposed to the family size?
Well, we're working on progress, but I find that if I have something immediately grabbable, something that I can just grab and eat, I will eat it. What I have kind of done now is I make I have a lot of those to-go boxes, or little black ones with plastic.
It's like you get Chinese food in.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I take those, and I have multiple of them that have different ingredients. Like one might be full of rice, one might be full of broccoli, one might be full of cranberries, one might be full of shredded American cheese or whatever.
Wow.
And
you really are going out healthy. Yeah.
I'm just rattling stuff off.
You've grown up. You're an adult.
And I find that when I'm able to piece some of those into a bowl and then, put it in the microwave, whatever, it makes me less apt to eat when I'm bored, or it makes me less apt to eat when I'm barely hungry. And I think those are two spots that I have, I get a hankering, I get a craving to eat, even if I'm not specifically hungry.
Well, I have this specific, unbreakable tie in the way I'm wired. If I'm sitting down in front of the television, the that part of the brain that controls ingestion of food is just ringing. It's just ringing off the hook. It's like, get up, get food, get popcorn, get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's like I would never think to sit down and make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but that's always been the hardest part for me is eating at night in front of the TV. So that's a habit I'm still trying.
One of my favorite breakfasts is a bagel, and we have a bagel slicer here, and I learned quickly that is a truly useless
bagel
tool.
Slicers are like one of the biggest hoaxes.
Yeah.
Is that the one that's just like the giant blade, like in a plastic form, and it just cuts right? Yeah, it's so unsatisfying. It's not even, it's just like it's like the guillotine. Like the bagel is suffering when you cut it with that thing. It's not a clean cut. It's not like a bread knife where you're slicing it back and forth.
Yeah, you need motion when you're cutting a bagel.
That's it.
I'd rather have a buzz saw than have a bagel slicer.
A buzz saw would do a better job than a bagel slicer. And some bagels, it just, it just pushes the bagel, so you get like a smushed bagel. Yeah. And it doesn't cut it cleanly, and the top's all mushed down into the hole, and it's you have
a crappy hot dog bun afterwards.
Yeah, we did that. We went through that shit. And for me, like people, if you like to cook, and people, maybe like on Meg's side of the family, like your side of the family, like, and they want to get you, and you're assigned, to them for Christmas. So the amount of, and you get some weird stuff because people don't know. I mean, God bless them, but anything to do with garlic, I have received every single gadget known to that's supposed to make it easier to process your garlic, and it's all kind of a joke because garlic, it's actually one of the easier things to prepare. You just break the little clove off and you smash it with a knife, and all the stuff that you're not supposed to eat immediately comes away, and then you can just grind it on the back of your blade, or you can put salt on it and do it with a fork. Really, it takes 10, it takes moments and you're done. And granted, that's after years of practice and lots of garlic, but like a garlic press, people on cooking shows still use garlic presses, and I'm
Nonsense.
like you're wasting all that beautiful garlic on the inside, and it's like, no, we just want the fine juice, the finest pulp, the hearts of the garlic, and then they're throwing the other part away, which is silly. I've gotten these things where it's like it's like a nylon tube or some sort of you put the bulb, or you put the clove in this like tube, and you kind of roll it on the counter, and it's supposed to separate the skin from the meat, and it does, but it's you don't need it to do that. People. There was another one where it's like it was a plastic thing, and you put put the clove inside this little plastic container, and you turn a wheel, and then all the paper is supposed to come off, and you're just left with the heart of the garlic, just the juicy stuff. That one I never figured out. That one people wasted a lot of time trying to invent something, things that don't need to exist, but people will buy them because if you don't cook that much, or if you cook with garlic maybe 2 times a year, then you look at it and it's like, how do I peel all this stuff off? It takes time. So anyway, those are useless.
I've only owned, I guess in my research, I've only owned a couple, but I found a lot of them. These things, I mean, you could make mountains out of the landfill that some of this junk is, and they probably have. So a banana slicer is like a barely sharp piece of plastic. I mean, you got to be sleeping if
I
you
don't
feel like
understand
you need a banana slicer.
What exactly? How does the banana slicer engage the banana? I mean, how is it?
It's essentially a butter knife without any serration, and it it is meant to like. So it's used to carve along the spine. You make a little cut, and then you press the banana through, and then you can do whatever you want with it. And then with the same banana slicer, you can cut it up and make pieces.
So you make it so you can peel the banana more easily?
It's nonsense. It is truly garbage.
Because that's really hard.
It's so bad,
right? If you're out with a friend and they're like looking at a banana and they're saying, "Gee, where do I start? Like, which end?"
You
That's
throw it on
a
the ground
person
and Mario Kart happens.
you don't want to hang around with.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. Well, bananas. You know what? It took me so long to realize that bananas, once they're out of their beautiful yellow skins, they consist of 3 lobes. They are tripartite. Did you ever notice that?
Okay, continue. I have no idea.
So you don't even need. So if you want to make, say you're Elvis, okay, and you want to make a peanut butter and banana sandwich, and maybe you'll put bacon on it if you have some laying around. So you really don't need to cut the banana into these rounds. You just peel the banana, the whole thing pops out. You bite the end off and enjoy that for yourself. And then you take your finger and you just stick it in the middle of the top of the banana and you push it down and it splits into 3 beautiful parts. And you can just then break those in half and you lay them down on top of your sandwich. You don't even have to cut a banana. You don't need a knife of any kind at all.
How did you discover this?
Lots of banana eating over the years, I guess. Maybe
thousands.
Or maybe all the, what happened? My banana slicer was, I couldn't find it. And then I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do?
What am I going to do without my banana
How am I going to get this out of here? It's just like, this is horrible. But yeah, you look at, next time you encounter a banana, you look at it. If you look at it like from the end, you can see even in the skin, it's kind of got 3 surfaces to it. And that is also the case on the inside when you remove it from the skin. And just bite the end off and enjoy that for yourself. And then you take your finger and you stick it like you were sticking your finger in the top of your skull, just the top of the banana skull. And you push it all the way through, and it just falls apart into 3 parts of equal length, and you just put them on your sandwich, and you're ready to go.
I will be trying this tonight. There are bananas upstairs. I will be trying this tonight. 100%.
Make sure it's a ripe banana, but not overly ripe banana.
Yeah,
but yeah, it'll work.
I always found the banana ripeness and like apple ripeness, I guess maybe just fruit ripeness debate to be like frustrating to listen to. People are like, "Oh, don't if it's got a couple brown spots, it's not ready yet." Or if there's a whole brown streak down one of the spines, it's overdone. It's like, hey, I'm gonna eat this banana. It could be 30% underripened. It could be 30% overripened. It's going down. It doesn't matter.
We know people who prefer eating like green, unripe.
Bananas. Ooh,
yeah. That does not appeal to me at all. That's what they look for. But for me, it's just like, yeah. I mean, it can be brown, and I'll just put it in the fridge, and it'll firm up a little bit. If it gets to that point, don't try the technique I referred to earlier, because you'll just end up with a finger full of banana mush. But other than that, put it in your smoothie, make bread out of it. Smear it on your head. Just eat it by itself. Put it in a bowl with granola. Bananas or acai. I never jumped on the acai bandwagon. There was a woman who, when I worked at Albany, we were living in Albany, and we used to, the people in that office used to eat lunch in the cafeteria. We had a cafeteria. Mm-hmm. She had like a Tupperware banana holder, like a case for a banana, shaped like a banana.
Shaped like a banana?
Like a plastic banana case.
Would this go in like a kid's
crack it open.
Box?
She put it in her bag, I guess, which is so ridiculous because the banana already comes in its own packaging. It doesn't need a package. It's like it's got the skin functions quite adequately to
it's its own
make
packaging.
sure the banana juice doesn't get on your PBJ or something like that.
So
yeah, I thought that was
sorry.
ridiculous. But she had a whole lunch set. Like she had a Tupperware thing shaped like a sandwich, where even like it was flat on the bottom and like a little round on top. Like it's like a traditional,
like a cartoonish clip art sandwich.
piece of bread, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
clip art sandwich. Yeah, no, she had all sorts of stuff.
I have a few times, screwed something up when I'm making it. We all have. And occasionally this bizarre thought comes to mind and I go, this is someone's favorite way. Like think of like a truly like blackened piece of toast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, by the numbers, someone out there, this is their favorite way to eat it. Or if you like
it's the carbon.
overboiled, if you
good for your
overboiled
teeth.
pasta for like 10 more minutes, like you made like a near mush out of it. Like that's someone's favorite way. That is it's like a crass thought that I don't like that intrudes my head when I screw something up like food.
Dude, we went to dinner once. We were invited to dinner with a lot of people at someone's house, and she was Italian American.
Mm-hmm.
And she was making pasta, and she filled up the thing with water, the kettle, and put it on the stove, and then opened a box of pasta and poured it in, and then turned it on.
Wow.
Yeah. And we were like,
This is trouble.
there was another. It was actually our parish priest was there, who was a gourmet cook, and he actually he like the sound that came out of his mouth. It was just like she sold her infant to Satan. He's like, "What are you doing?" And it was embarrassing because she was like, "Huh? I'm making the pasta." He's like, and she probably grew up with her mom was a bad cook, and that's and you actually can make pasta that way, Keegan. You can put it in cold water and bring it to a boil. It will, bad. The water will, get into the macaroni and it'll hydrate the macaroni and it'll get somewhere, I guess. But I've never tried it. I don't know. I would think the pasta would just kind of fall apart because it's going to be in the water too long before. I actually have no idea. But those instructions exist for a reason. That's just not the way you make pasta. So yeah, she didn't get to cook the dinner. He just sort of stepped in and made dinner and sent her outside to like entertain her guests. And it's I still remember it. It was embarrassing.
How did it come out? That he was able to like recover
when
the situation?
he cooked it, I'm sure it was fine. He was like he started over. He poured it all out and then got rid of it and then started boiling the water and then put the pasta back in. I mean, he knew how to cook. He was a very good cook.
One of the gadgets that are kind of popular that I always thought were a true nightmare are like chocolate fountains, or like fondue fountains even.
Yeah.
Cleaning those things, that has got to be a Herculean effort. That has to be awful. There's so many
waste
little,
a lot of chocolate.
Yeah, that too. It's not like the chocolate fountain is like scraped clean by the end of the night by all the guests.
Have you ever
usually a
gone
healthy
to
amount.
anyone's house, Keegan, and they said, "Oh, we're having chocolate fountain"? Ever?
I
haven't.
think so. But
I've been to like functions and events where there's the chocolate fountain surrounded by strawberries on sticks and people are. That's one of those things that it's like s'mores.
I'm not a s'mores guy.
No one really likes them, Keegan. No one really likes s'mores.
I agree.
It's a thing. No, it's a thing. Oh, we'll do s'mores, and I'm like, okay, I'll pretend to be eating the crappy marshmallows are just gross, and all you do is you end up eating the chocolate. And graham crackers are fine, and graham crackers and chocolate kind of go together. And I'm sure there's a children's cereal that's graham crackers and chocolate, probably with marshmallow on it too. But the whole thing is just that's one of those things where the idea is more appealing than the actual thing. I think chocolate fountains are the same way. It's just because you know that chocolate and strawberries are supposed to go together, and they do. But you'll have one or two, and then the fountain's like still cranking away 2 hours later, and all those strawberries are getting soft. I've never been to a party. What about fondue?
I've had fondue a couple times
At like people's homes?
Yes, I've done fondue twice in a dinner table, and then once in the mall. They had one here in the mall.
Because I've seen like fondue pots on coffee tables at garage sales. Mm-hmm. And the most interesting thing about a fondue pot are the forks, because they're really long and scary looking, and you can, it's a very appealing object that you could run around with that fork and like just stick things with that freaking fork. But I've never been to anyone's house. I think back in the 70s, people were exchanging those as wedding gifts. It's like, come on over, we'll have fondue. And like, you'd be like, seriously? Like, cheese and bread? And, we'll stick other things in it. Like, like what? Like what? What do you stick in it that's not bread?
Fondue. So we did like thin slices of steak.
All right, that actually sounds very good.
Yeah, it's the idea is much more appealing than the reality. The reality is you get like
is it fun? Is it like
fun.
There's
it's
a social
interactive.
aspect to it? Yeah, okay.
Have you ever been to like K-pot? Have you tried those?
Totally. I would love that whole hot pot experience. It's,
the hot pot
fantastic.
experience is what fondue dreams of being. It is a 5 times better experience.
But the French do it. The French have been doing, they don't call it, fondue is a French word, but there's that special cheese that they have. It's a special raclette, raclette. And you just melt the cheese and you eat it with bread, and that's all you do. And you get drunk and you drink whatever the wine is. And when Meg and I were on our honeymoon in Canada once, we were at a restaurant, and they were somehow known for their fondue. Like, people said, "Oh, you have to go here and get the fondue." And it wasn't until we're sitting down eating it that I mean, to most people, fondue, it's just melted cheese and bread. That's it. And I'm like, we're paying all this money, and I'm like, the fuck? It's just like
you leave hungry.
Even like little cubes of, like, I don't know, barbecued pork that could stick in there, like something. A cherry tomato. I mean, fuck, it's like bread. You're just dipping the bread. And don't get me wrong, it was fucking delicious. But after a while, it doesn't take long to get full of that stuff and kind of be looking around for your next meal.
Yeah.
Go out for hot dogs or something.
I
remember being surprised that it's just bread. I kept waiting for them to like bring more shit that we were going to dip in this cheese, and it never came.
More bread, sir.
Kind of foolish.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Yes.
Pumpernickel or
Encore
white?
de pain pour vous, monsieur. Ouais. C'est bon? You're enjoying the fondue, no? Huh? Yeah.
Maybe some pepper
The
in
finest
this thing.
fondue. It's the finest fondue in all of Quebec.
The twice that I've had it, I was definitely hungry afterward. I feel like to get full on fondue, you would have to eat like an inappropriate amount at like a party. Like you'd need a basically most of a plate of food still, and then you put cheese on it.
And then how much? Yeah, you're basically eating molten cheese with bread. You're going to be constipated for like 5 days.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I didn't even think of that. I mean, the amount that you have to ingest to feel full, it's like, that's not healthy. It's not natural to eat that much cheese and bread.
You see, so something I want to touch on s'mores with is I think that every piece of it is good, but the vehicle to me is the worst of it. I think the graham cracker is like the
graham
reason
crackers
that it's a messy
are
disaster.
very cool.
I love graham crackers.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But
you're blaming the graham cracker? I blame the marshmallow. I marshmallows.
Okay, so touching on like the way that someone loves it, I want my marshmallow to look like I left it in a kiln. I want it to be like a blackened obsidian at the end of my
It should be
stick.
totally caramelized with a molten core.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, when you do that to a marshmallow, it does become mildly interesting, but only mildly.
You love
It's
mildly
just
interesting.
gelatin and
Sugar.
corn syrup. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not you can't whatever. Kids get
So-
excited because of the shape.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun food. It's like it's like a Lunchable.
It is
The Lunchables
reputed
are
to be
garbage.
fun. What?
Like
What's
it's like
garbage?
a Lunchable. Like a Lunchable.
Don't get me started about Lunchables. That was just who the fuck fell for that? It's like Lunchables, and then it's like and you market it to kids during cartoons, and they're eating like what was in it? Like cubed bologna meat,
There's a ton of them now.
pretzels.
When I was
they're
young,
still going strong. This is horrifying.
when I was young, or like the one that was really popular, and the couple that my parents had ended up getting me, God's damn them for this, were cold pizza ingredients. So you would get a pizza shell that's like the size of a slice of cartoon bread, maybe. You get borderline ketchup, and then a few shreds of cheese, and then like sometimes pepperoni. And you ate this cold pizza.
It's
And-
a deconstructed cold pizza.
It's tough to eat. It's tough to sit through.
Did you
and
enjoy it?
No. It's extremely rare that I complain about food, or food that's given to me. How I think it's obviously I think it's rude, but with food insecurity as a mark of the
Right.
of the past, it's tough to ever say no or tough to refuse or something. But that stuff you would I'd sheepishly eat it, and you'd be like, that kid eats a ton. Why is he not eating the Lunchable? And that's what was going
looking
on.
at one now. I'm looking at the one they're advertising, and this one. I mean, there's 4 little pockets, and one of them has crackers, and one has Oreos, and one has slices of cheese, and the other one has little round slices of ham. And it looks very appealing. I'm like, okay, that's
This is
fine.
the turkey sandwich one. Is that what it is?
No, it's ham and cheese, and it's an ad on the Kraft site on the web. But yeah, no, I even as a child I objected, and I'm like, Mom, don't fall for it. Just like don't. Even those crappy deviled ham sandwiches you make us are far preferable to Lunchables. Don't fall for it, Mom. Don't do it. Don't you do it, Mom. They probably cost more than what my parents paid to send us to school with lunch.
Oh,
My mom would she'd get 1 can of Underwood deviled ham, and she'd make sandwiches for 5 kids.
wow.
The ratio of mayonnaise to deviled ham was like 5 to 1. And she'd spread it on. She'd spread it on the slice of bread like it was margarine. You could barely see it. But if you were hungry, it was like it was 2 slices of bread with like a hint of ham and lots of mayonnaise. And it was delicious.
I have
It's
a
like
tough relationship
deviled
with
ham
mayo.
day.
I have a tough relationship with mayonnaise. I want very little of it, and I don't want much more. I don't like the look of it. I don't like knowing that it's there, but I know that it does add. Like if you give me a burger and you put a smear of mayo on there, I'm not
Yeah.
complaining. But if I bite into a ham and cheese sandwich and there's a pocket of mayonnaise, ooh,
You're not happy?
I'm scared. I'm not happy.
It's
I'm
one of the noble, one of the most popular French classic sauces of all time. It's originally a sauce mayonnaise.
Was it like
Yeah,
thicker
eggs
at
and
some point,
oil.
thinner?
It's just eggs and oil and a little salt, or if you want to put, something else in there, pepper. It's. I make our own mayo now, and I also buy it. But if I've got time, and we don't actually, eat a lot of sandwiches. I have a limit. I have greatly reduced the quantity of carbohydrates in our daily diet.
Yeah, I think we could all.
And I used to eat a ton of sandwiches, and unless it's a PBJ, if I'm making a sandwich, it's going to have a lot of mayonnaise on it.
I can't.
Keegan, I used to come in from the garden as a kid, and we didn't even do mayonnaise. We did Miracle Whip, which is a whole other chapter, and people
I've
will
had it.
go to war. You've had it? I love it. It's they can't call it mayonnaise because Kraft, because it was the Hellmans took Kraft to court because they said you can't call that mayonnaise because the ratio of oil to water was different, and they put other crap in it like high fructose corn syrup. So they had to call it salad dressing. But that was my mom didn't buy the Hellmans. That was what was passed for mayonnaise in our house, and we ate a ton of it. But now I don't do it that often. If I'll buy it if we're going to make like potato salad in the summer for a cookout or something like that. But yeah, it's really easy to make mayonnaise at home if you have a hand blender and a glass jar. Just egg. You put the egg in and you drizzle in the oil while you're turning it, and then in 30 seconds you have mayonnaise.
I have a tough
It's
time with
fresh.
eggs.
It's delicious. With what?
With eggs, I was deathly allergic to them when I was young. But
Yeah, who was I
even in
talking to
my-
recently? Yeah, that's like a thing. I didn't realize that there were some people that just like are grossed out by eggs.
Grandpa Tampa can't eat them either.
Maybe it's him.
But
Maybe it's genetic.
it is. I think so.
Thank you very much,
adult-
John Moran. You can blame
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. Thanks, guy.
Yeah.
I've obviously had a million opportunities to eat eggs in so many different fashions, and I still my brain doesn't trust it. I want to like it. It's something that I find is almost an inconvenience to not like because
Was there a
nearly
traumatic experience in your early youth involving the eggs?
I mean, I was
Maybe-
allergic to them. I'd gone into some
Maybe in a
anaphylaxis with it.
Oh, okay. Well, dude, that's all it takes. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh no, it's but
But
I
if
would
the
think
eggs
that-
are, but what about eggs like in baked goods? Because eggs are everywhere. As an
right. They're
ingredient.
everywhere. But yeah, if they're not if they're not a standalone piece,
Right,
I don't
front and
really
center.
care. Right. Like
Okay.
I can there's eggs and cake and muffins and
Yeah.
whatever. I've had a
yeah.
million of those and they're fine. But if you give me
and
like
pasta.
a breakfast burrito, I can't do
Yeah,
it.
with delicious scrambled eggs or a nice, runny poached egg. Mm. Yeah, when the girls come home, when they want me to make them breakfast, it will be like an egg poached in olive oil, and it is a luxurious thing to eat on a piece of toast.
I
you
looked
gotta
up the
like eggs.
wine. I looked up the wine that was served at the wedding, and it was paired specifically with the salad. As I think, at least that was offered. And I was like, these guys know their stuff. There's no playing around.
What wine was it?
Oh,
remember.
let me see if I can find it.
Because I ended up buying a lot of the leftover wine, but it was mostly red wine. So we came home with like 12 bottles of the New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, which is delicious. And they served a lot of that. Was that the one?
No, I had the is it Vietti, the
Yeah.
Barbara d'Asti.
Yeah.
It was the red wine.
Yeah, no, the red wine, that was tasty.
I looked it up and it was
That
like,
all
yeah,
got
this should-
drunk. That all
it
got
did.
drunk. The other one, there was a California Red, and there's like a case and a half of that left that I bought off Madeline because Margaret Moran will drink a glass of red wine at night.
I looked up
that was tasty.
I looked up the flavor profile and such of it, and it was like lots of red and black fruit, cherries and raspberries and such. And
Yeah.
it should be very acrid or acidic or whatever. And
Okay.
and it was like if you were to make a meal with this, heirloom tomatoes and mozzarella, and I was like, what's right in front of me?
hilarious.
I
God.
could not believe it. I was like,
Dude, I
immediate
didn't get my salad.
Oh, really? What
Were
happened?
you guys eating salad while I was like doing my toast?
Yes.
Is that what it was? Well,
Yeah.
I came back and it's like my salad's gone. I was so bummed. I should have asked for it. Or maybe I did eat it and I just don't remember because I wolfed it down.
I
I love a caprese salad. That's like, tomatoes, basil.
I another like tomatoes are another food that I have a tough time with, but I'm starting to lean into them
Interesting.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what I don't like is that kind of like liquidy tomato taste that like
Yeah.
really wash your mouth out. It's tough to describe, but
So, yeah, no,
I find them
I've
still
had
good,
a
like fried green tomatoes and roasted, and I love
that
tomato
I've never
skin.
had. Yeah. Well, and you like tomato sauce for like pizza and pasta and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as an ingredient, it's one of the most versatile. I just bought 3 cans of big cans of tomatoes because tomorrow I'm cooking at church. I'm making the rigatoni alla bolognese.
Like a little bolognese.
It's going to have a lot of garlic and a lot of pork and a lot of beef.
There's gonna be some clear.
Yeah, I got to get up at 5 o'clock. What's that?
There's gonna be some clear skin in that church.
It's got pork fat. But tomatoes. So you know how. So apples, and then we'll jump to tomatoes.
Sure.
When you eat, like just bite into an apple and eat it, do your temples sweat?
Whoa.
I haven't found anyone else that this happens to. It's a
No,
very unique
I don't think
reaction.
so.
It's a very unique and
Very unique reaction.
specific reaction that I get when I eat like fresh apples from the vineyard, and I'll wash it and I'll make sure it's not been sprayed, and even like organic vineyards. But you bite into it, and it's delicious, and my temples start sweating.
Is it maybe because it's sour, or is it because
I just thought that maybe is that like one of the things that people
I gotta look it up.
experience when they have an allergy to something? Like just the temples. It's like nothing else happens, and the apple tastes delicious, and I don't get sick, but my temples sweat. It's weird, but that was just the lead-in. So for tomatoes, tomatoes can, if you have like any. If you've scratched the inside of your mouth, like, maybe you got up and you were hungover, you're brushing your teeth really hard, and maybe you scratched your gum or something like that. Mm-hmm. There's something about a tomato, the acid in the tomato, that interacts in a very specific way with any sort of open, sensitive areas in my mouth. That's very unique, and it's like it only happens with tomatoes. It doesn't put me off tomatoes, but I just know that when I'm like eating, a fresh tomato that I've got just cut open and I put oil and salt on it, and if there's any exposed parts of my mouth that have been nicked or scratched, I'm going to feel it. That they're going to be screaming in pain while I'm eating this tomato.
We got to look into Fay disease.
Love tomatoes.
Or
Is that a thing?
disease. Fraze syndrome. Sorry.
Yeah.
It is a condition that your salivary or salivatory nerves are like connected to the sweat glands in your face. I don't know if
I don't know why I didn't type
yeah, look it
I
up.
just found it. I don't know. No, I didn't know why I didn't use AI to if
Temples
other people are
sweating
experiencing
after
this.
eating apples. Sweating at the temples after eating apples can be a symptom of a
It says I can manage it with
syndrome called Fraze syndrome.
I can get injections of the Botox, Keegan, if I want to manage this.
You want to get a little plastic surgery? You and I go get plastic
It's a
surgery.
side effect of blah 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 nerve damage when you experience facial sweating and flushing when you eat. Yeah, but it's just apples. So I did see if there's any connection with apples, and I'm not finding it.
I just don't know.
Like a college, a medical college.
I'm an anomaly. Call Dr. House. Get him in on it. Do you ever watch House?
I've watched actually House clips that are
Same.
But I haven't. No, I've never actually sat down and watched. I have an aversion to hospital shows. There's just so many of them So many of them. And when they're growing up, the girls are growing up, it was all Grey's Anatomy, Keegan. Everyone
Still is.
wanted to be a doctor because of Grey's Anatomy. I mean, your sister wanted to be a doctor. Aaliyah wanted to be a doctor. Madeline wanted to be a doctor. Kate wanted to be a doctor. Nora wanted to be a doctor. They always like, I think I'll, be a doctor. I'm like, you're not going to be a doctor. You're just watching TV. You have no idea what you have to do. Organic chemistry. You're going to hate it. Trust me. And obviously they all ended up. But I'm doing like apples. Do apples cause sweaty temples? And I'm not getting any hits.
I never really had, at least to my memory, I didn't have a job that I was like clamoring to do when I was young.
Yeah.
I always thought that, like, I don't know, that the stereotypical like astronaut answer I thought was cool, but I didn't want to be an astronaut. I still don't want to be. Imagine being stuck up there with, in 5 feet of open space with 10 other people who can't shower. Like, it's gotta be horrible.
Like in a vacuum.
Yeah,
Just waiting to get hit by like a small asteroid so you could all implode.
We get hit by a piece of paint the size of a quarter that
Yes.
rips right through the space station with no second thought.
No, that never. I never felt drawn to a career in the astronaut field or a pilot.
What did you want to be when you were growing up? What was like?
I really don't remember thinking about it. But you're right. It was one of those things where every child was expected to have sort of a canned response to any
firefighter,
jackass adult that asked you.
Yeah.
Do you want to be a fireman? It's like, sure, I want to be a fireman. It's like, I don't want to be a fucking fireman.
Oh, play the Dalmatian.
I do not remember. I have absolutely no recollection of how I answered that question.
Do firefighters?
I was a bit of a prick.
have...
I probably said I have no idea. I said I actually have no idea. Plus, I'm only 4. Just like, go away.
Did firefighters ever actually have Dalmatians, or is that just like a weird movie cartoon thing?
No, I think there is some sort of a connection there. I don't know what it is. Because they can run. They somehow run in back of the fire wagon for some reason. That's it. I don't know what that reason. Maybe in where is the Dalmatia? Asia Minor? It's like the far eastern Mediterranean coast, part of Yugoslavia. I have no idea. No idea, Keegan.
Oh, this had a lot to do
they're sharp-looking dogs.
It has a lot to do with when there weren't.
Do apples cause sweaty temples in Dalmatians? I'm going to continue from the prior search in Dalmatians in firehouses.
Every food I eat for the next 6 months, I'm going to be figuring out if it gives me sweaty temples or not. I'm going to be very examinative. So back in the day...
No, I think you're probably one of those people that do have more food sensitivity. I never really had food sensitivities that I could recall. And again, there was much less awareness of that when I was growing up. But now I'm sort of surrounded by people who have sensitivities to all kinds of weird foods. And I don't seem to have any. I'm an omnivore who could happily eat just about everything.
Do you have synesthesia?
I don't. I've always thought that would be a cool. As soon as I figured out what it, learned what it was, it's like, oh fuck, I can't see that. Yes,
me, my sister, and my dad do.
Really?
Yeah,
that would be cool. I'm listening to a book, a book on tape, and there's a guy, and it's about language. And he talks about his association of he'll talk about the letter Y, and he said the letter Y to me it's like purple, and
absolutely,
and it tastes like whatever, but bananas, and it's a purple banana tasting thing, and it's like no, I do not have that at all.
So this is going to sound like pure nonsense, and I guess it kind of is in a way because it doesn't seem like there's any real logical pattern to synesthesia. It's just how your brain interprets this input. And one of them for me is like I attribute like the guy you're talking about, colors and personalities to characters. So like the letter T is like big and it's red and it's like a courageous, like strong, paladin-y kind of letter. I hate the number 3 for two reasons. Yeah, the number 3 and we're not cool. I think 3 is overabundant. It's everywhere. 3 strikes and you're out. 3 lights on a traffic light.
But Keegan, it's a magic number.
A
man and a woman had a little baby. Yes, they did. There were 3 in the family. It's a magic.
My favorite number.
Rock?
No, we weren't school.
Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Come on, man.
The number 3. So my favorite number is 5, and
always
the number 3 is the crown jewel in like it's in the dead center if you count to 5, and it's always frustrated me that 3 has
it's right
this,
there.
Like, 3 has this like shitty little diamond crown on my favorite number, and it makes me so mad. I see sounds.
I get the 5 thing, so it's not synesthesia, but I've always had an authentic, non-bullshit answer to like, what's your favorite number? Mm-hmm. And my favorites were always 8 and 5, and I like them both equally. And I don't know why, but I do.
8's a common one.
I find them very comforting.
Yeah, 8 has a lot of symmetry. 8 is it's used in other symbolic ways. Obviously, it's close to the infinity symbol. Like people will attribute like wholeness to it, like it's a complete loop. It's this like isolated. It's mathematically isolated. You don't see a lot of 30 times 8, crap like that. So, and I think it's like a threshold point for a lot of like danger consideration, maybe like or spending consideration. Like $8 is a lot to spend on a case of soda. I don't know,
or a $5 footlong. So
yeah, the $5 footlong sounds lovely.
Well, 8 was the mathematical base 8 was very, very popular for years as the base for many programming languages, because some of the earliest computer chips had 8
cores, 8
bits, right? And so, and when you would write in the machine language, you did everything in base 8. There was some reason why I had to learn that. I don't know what it was. But it always blew my mind that we're base 10.
Yeah.
And why? It's because of the fingers and toes, and that's all it is. That's it. It's totally from us.
Yeah,
that is it. No, it's nothing. There's nothing out there in the universe that screams. It's you count to 10 and then you start over. It's fingers and toes. It's just like, because that's what we counted on. It could be base 2. It could be base 6. It's not. It's 10. It's trippy.
I think my most powerful, quote unquote, synesthesia would be audio to visual. I see many of the sounds that I hear, and given my love of EDM and big epic like orchestrals and like big remixes and stuff like that, I love seeing or hearing a giant festival stage that like shakes your entire body, because the input often has like a scaling factor with the output. The bigger the input, usually the more vivid and the more like viewable the projection is. So like to map it out, maybe for someone who hasn't heard or hasn't experienced it, like think of a car hitting its horn. When you're sitting in your car, the sound travels and hits your ear, and then it like processes what is this, and then you visualize the car horn relation in your head. When I hear the input, there is like a little buffer period, just an extra couple frames where I see like it might be like a red stripe that like 60 degrees across my vision or something, and then my brain goes, yep, that's a car horn, and then you remember what a car horn is, and then it's done. So as far as I can tell, it doesn't lie to me, I guess. Like, if I think I heard something, but I didn't, it usually
But is it
doesn't give me protection.
consistently the same visual image for the same
No.
auditory stimulus?
No.
Or is it something different?
Like
when you hear car horns, is there always that red slash?
No. It could be, they're usually of like the same archetype. So, like glass crunching, like if you were to walk like in boots across a bunch of glass, are these like kind of white star triangle shapes that will pop up, and they're very numerous. The next time I might see them as like yellow cubes, and they're very numerous still, but they're small and they're tough to like define. They're not really in your vision, but you can imagine them at like a better than regular imagination visualization.
I don't think there's any. I cannot recall any visualization that takes place that is included in the reaction to hearing like a sound. It just goes straight to car horn. I don't think I even visualize. No, I'm trying to think if I do. If I did, it would be a separate process that I would initiate. It wouldn't just like pop into my head.
Yeah, mine's automatic.
Yeah.
One of the other facets of it is that it's more than just like your base senses. There are people who have synesthesia about like the sense of time or their sense of self. You might have a conversation. If you have like sense of self with taste, you might have a conversation that makes you reconsider an opinion, and you're like, wow, that tasted like an orange or something. Like there are these bizarre combinations that can come across, and I think it's a really unique, like nearly superpower level trait that some people have.
Wow.
It's defined as a disorder, but I think that's nonsense. I think it's really cool.
Well, does it cause you any distress, or cause you to go around slapping people? I mean, why would that be a disorder? Just because you have these associations.
Awesome. That'd be great if I had like a pass to just walk around and slap people to study some aesthetic projections. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, you'd have to carry a card with you. I don't hate you. I'm just driven by this very strong urge that I'm unable to control because I heard a car horn.
So, I lost my train of thought. Oh no, crap. I know what I was going to talk about. There are people who do get overwhelmed. There's a really cool Discovery documentary on synesthesia, and there is this lady, I think she was like a cello player, and she discussed a lot of what she sees when she plays music, but she said when it rains, it is a particular... Oh no, I lost Chuck. We're at 58 minutes. Oh no.
Hey, am I back?
Oh, welcome back.
Hey man, am I back?
Yep. I hear
Sorry
you.
about that.
You're good.
No, I
lost about 40 seconds, so no worries.
No, I went to close the window so I could start a fresh search on synesthesia, and I just shut everything. I kept Audacity up, but no.
So the cello playing lady had described her like rain as like a particularly invasive projection that was like a lot of these like black squares or I want to say like red sharp like spike looking things that would like completely infill her vision. So that sounds awful. I don't know if there's severity. I mean, I guess there is severity of synesthesia. You might have like extremely sensitive where, tapping your fingers on a desk could look like, progressively tighter vignettes around your eyesight or something, whatever that looks like for someone. But I could see it being intense or see it being, nearly debilitating if you can't get away from it. Like if you're in a crowded, if you're at a mall or if you're on a crowded street or a restaurant, or it's just like really bogging down your processing power and bogging down your senses. Sure. But I guess maybe mine's not that severe if there is severity scale. But there again, like people use a lot of different senses about it. Sense of space is another one that to me it'd be tough to feel or think of feeling. Like your sense of space, you walk closer to a door and your sense of space has changed, and then you see like a red line through your vision. Like what that to me it's a fascinating association, but it's tough for me to like think of it happening. Synesthets usually have some ability to kind of interpret or at least give the illusion of interpretation to someone else's synesthesia. So Leah's is like texture. She has patterns and textures everywhere, and she loves like touching them. And she makes a bunch of them. So I don't know what her output projection is, but at least her input is at least touch.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, most, well, including you, but most people I think who report it just sort of even start off life thinking that's normal, that everyone else is experiencing it, pretty much the same thing. And it doesn't really get in the way of anything. It's just like, this is what happens. This is what a banana sounds like.
Exactly. Right? Absolutely.
Right?
When I eat a banana, I eat a banana.
It sounds like a car horn. And
yeah, you're getting it.
Trippy.
It
do
sounds
not have
like
that even a little bit.
It sounds like mushrooms. It sounds like an acid trip if it's not described well, I guess. But I would love.
Is there a connection between synesthesia and like what happens when you experience ASMR?
Oh, that's a really good question.
I'm not seeing it because ASMR. So
that's like a
very young,
experience.
as a very, very young child.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be lying in bed, and if I heard adults in the other room, it was usually like maybe my grandmother was visiting, and then my mother would start talking about her kids, and when they get around to me, I would get this incredibly pleasant tingling sensation.
Mm-hmm.
On the back of the head, and it just would go all the way up and down, and it was real. It was like you were feeling this thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was totally, it wasn't, and I thought everyone like that was just how you experienced.
I think most people can feel it, or at least most of the people that I've asked about ASMR can feel it, but I have absolutely participated in ASMR as an audiovisual synesthete, and it is a treat. You're like, it's like a surgical amount of enjoyment. You're like very fine tuning what you want to hear. So like one of them that I like is mechanical keyboards, the very clicky keyboards.
Okay.
Hearing someone type like an essay on that to me is heaven. That sounds lovely.
Yeah, and you get a like a physical reaction, like
right,
like
yes.
It's a drug, like it's like you're taking, and it goes, you feel it on your skin and it tingles in your head. Yeah. For me, it only ever happened when, people had to be talking about me and they didn't know that I could hear them, and then I would experience it. That was the only time. That was it. It was very.
Have you tried? Like as an adult, have you like listened to ASMR videos and see? If you can get into it?
Totally, but it's not the exact same kind of response. It's just it's a satisfying thing, and there is definitely the physical aspect to it is there. Like you feel it's relaxing in a sense. Like that you can feel on the surface of your skin almost. It's very, like when like a guy's getting shaved and it's almost like you're getting shaved with your eyes closed, and you can feel that happening to
Great
you.
association.
Like so, Yeah. Oh no, ASMR. It's great. People talk real slow, and they put the microphones on their wrists so you can, hear the razor dragging across the skin, and it's just like it's so relaxing.
There is some.
Oh yeah,
there are some.
That's a great way to fall asleep.
Yeah, there are some very advanced ASMR microphones. The one that you have in front of you is actually one of the kind of like an entry level ASMR microphone.
Is it? Cool.
You turn it on the circle instead of the dented circle, and then you turn the gain like as high as you can get it, and then people, you whisper into it, you touch things to it. There are some pretty advanced ones now that are, they're like these boxes that are maybe the size of like a to-go container. As I look at one on my desk, and the size of it
full of broccoli.
It's full of beef stew that I ate.
We're taking the beef stew out of the container now.
So you're doing it. Well, you're doing it. They on the sides of it though are like rubber ears, and the microphones are pretty much where your eardrums are. And they brush things on the ears. They put stuff in the ear canal, and they make this like an absurdly intimate and detailed and like sensitive experience that it's like overindulgent almost. It's crazy.
Those don't work for me because it's like, yeah, you're just doing a bunch of random shit, and I appreciate the sound that you're making, but I'd rather watch someone actually getting their ears cleaned. And then I can feel like, and I can hear like that little brush inside the ear, and I can see it in there, and they're swishing it around, and it's making that very pleasant scratching sound.
And, I draw it akin to like a dry paintbrush on a canvas. I think that is a lovely noise. I can listen
that is a
to
lovely
up and
noise.
down. See, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
There's so much preference. Some people like food. Some people listen to people do mukbangs, and they do just eating ASMR. They'll have like big crunchy chicken tenders or chicken, and they just
really
right into the microphone. Oh yeah, dude. Or you have someone who has like honeycomb. Honeycomb's a popular food ASMR. It's like biting into a bunch of little pockets
of cereal,
or no, like the out of
the actual
nest.
honeycomb. Wow,
dude.
So that's not like something you go to the store and buy.
I don't know where they source it. I've never seen honeycomb for sale.
You got to go to the beekeeper.
Yeah, you go to the beekeepers. But yeah, they bite into it, and it's like it's like all these little pockets that are popping, and they have this distinct sound. And when they chew it, it's all sticky, and it makes this crunchy noise. There are people who are recoiling at this right now, which is awesome.
Wow.
It is. I don't like honeycomb eating. I like some eating ASMR. It depends on what it is. One of my favorites is like.
I'm going to check out the honeycomb eating. I don't think so.
Just listen. I mean, listen to it once just to hear it. But
I waste enough time watching people getting shaved or getting their ears cleaned. I should just go to like one of these places and get like a 1 hour shave, and then that would be like actually enjoying it.
It would be hard to shave you for an hour.
Oh no! They take their time. They go nuts. They're sculpting, they're pruning, there's lotions, there's whatever. Yeah, no, some of them take a long time.
For anyone that's maybe never had an ASMR experience, something that a lot of people find their first ASMR in is like Bob Ross. Bob Ross has this gentle way of speaking, a lot of mouth sounds. The brush on the canvas is, again, another one. Like, I love it, but a lot of people like it a lot.
That's a great connection, yeah.
The delicateness, the attention to detail, and, like, the process. A lot of it has to do with process. You'll see, like, hair cutting ASMR where you're a guy in a chair and this person or barber in front of you, whatever, is... just putting the scissors right next to the microphone and pretending that you're right there.
Yeah.
And you just listen to it. And there's all sorts of categories of it. If you don't like one of them, try something else. It's a fun thing to explore. And initially, some people might even think the ASMR sensory or, that tingling might be unpleasant at first, but once you get used to it, once you do it on purpose, it's lovely. It's so nice.
No, I remember when I first realized that there was this thing called ASMR. I'm like, that's what it is. That's what that was when I was a little kid. It's like, now I remember that finally, because I'd be asking all these people seriously like, for years. So remember you were little and and they're like, what is your deal? Like, no, shut up, go away.
Don't talk to me. I'm feeling the back of my neck without my hands.
That's right. I'm rubbing the feathers along the back of my neck. I've got my paintbrush against the canvas. It's very pleasant.
Have you ever tried painting anything?
We did paint by numbers as kids. That was like a standard, like in the Christmas gift rotation for many years. And I remember specific paintings that we did, and I was very impatient. And I sucked at it, and they were oil paintings. I never cleaned the brushes properly.
Yeah.
And by the time you were getting toward the end, you're those crappy. It was just like a hardened nub of paint. And they all looked like crap.
I've tried a few times.
I do not have a hand that can produce anything you could be described as interesting to look
speak.
at. So I can't draw, can't paint, visual arts, anything that I would have to create using my own limbs. It just wouldn't be worth looking at all.
I tried.
I think that people that can do that, I think that's magical.
Yeah. It's a very particular talent, and I think I've tried it a handful of times now, and I had like a Bob Ross night and where I tried it. I have it hanging up in my room right now. I'm looking at it, but
cool.
I bought all the brushes, I bought a bunch of oil paints and stuff, and I sat there for, I want to say, like 4 or 5 hours, and I made nothing even resembling what he was doing on screen. And
I do think, though, Keegan, it is the kind of thing that you can acquire. It's a manual, it's a thing. So you should be able to reproduce, any image you want on a piece of paper with, holding a pencil. But you'd have to practice it if you're not born with it. And even if you did that, I just don't think you'd ever be as good as someone who's just born with it.
Yeah. I think it is a learnable skill. Like when I was in school, they taught you how to sight things. Like, if you look at something from a fixed distance and a fixed angle, you can use the pencil and your thumb or whatever to.
Yeah, you can use some techniques. Yeah, there's technique involved that for some people it's intuitive, I guess. And for other people, you can learn it. You can, when we used to learn how to write cursive, right? So there are some kids that have beautiful penmanship, like right out of the box. And then there would be people like me, and it's just like, it would look horrible.
Same.
But if you worked at it and worked at it and worked at it, and you were just basically trying to make the same shape, like consistently, like the letter C, and for some reason you couldn't do it, but if you practiced it and practiced it and practiced it, it would get better. After a while, your penmanship would improve. It would be a little bit more beautiful, but it would never.
Writer.
Get too impatient for that crap.
Yeah,
and people don't learn cursive anymore. There's no need. There is no need.
In the garbage. I remember thinking back when I was little that cursive was garbage. I was like, I've never seen. I've seen my grandma and grandpa and mom and dad and neighbor write on pieces of paper, and none of them had ever used cursive. I was like, this is. It's not
a natural way to write. So people sort of develop their own styles, and most people who learn cursive end up using a mixture of print and cursive. That's what I do. And cursive made sense when you wrote with a pen that was dipped in a bottle of ink, because you didn't want to, once the pen went on the paper, you wanted to leave it there as long as possible and draw that ink out. Otherwise, you get blots. Other than that, right? And before that, it was a quill dipped in ink. So it made sense that you're not going to to make a letter M, you're not going to write a line and then lift the tip off the paper and write another line, and then lift the tip off the paper and write another line. You're just going to leave it down there, and you're going to make a shape that's going to look like an M. So there was a technological reason for it, given how people were writing things down back then. But once that stopped, once they invented pencils and pens that you didn't have to dip in the ink, cartridge pens, then there really is no reason to learn cursive, other than that just sort of became a convention that was then somehow a hallmark of being an educated, sophisticated, polished person. So you were expected to have good penmanship and a firm handshake. But even though there's no technological reason, you can record information on paper with a pencil just as well and share that with some other person without ever learning cursive.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
When I was
the heyday of cursive, it was like probably a couple hundred years or less,
easily,
and now it's gone.
Yeah, gone.
It really is gone.
I think handwriting period it's gonna slowly be
Totally
phased out. Obviously, there's still
Totally.
a lot of it to do, but
Totally.
I think that's an interesting question. Do you think you've written, or do you think you've typed more in your life?
At this point, I've definitely typed more.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that, like, by the number,
but-
even if it's text alone, I've probably beaten my handwriting.
So if I was for some strange, stupid reason to like go back to school and sit in a lecture and take notes, I would do that on a pad of paper, with a pencil. That's how I'm comfortable recording information in real time. And when I started in my legal career, if I was charged with creating a first draft of some sort of a document, that's what I would do. I'd sit down with a pad of paper and you write it out, and then, you cross things out as you're going and you change things. It took a while before, people my age transitioned to drafting on, the keyboard. But we all did. And that's how everyone does it now. Even old folks somehow, develop that skill, because most of us learned how to type because typewriters were a thing. And you had one laying around the house, and it was a lot of fun to like get out Dad's typewriter and type. So you learn to interact with a keyboard, and once you have that knowledge, and computers were invented, it just made a lot more sense to compose on the keyboard and not with a pen and paper. But for people of a certain age, and I'm sure, Keegan, you can like look and like there's probably a specific year or a 5-year range where like if you were born, prior to this year, you probably drafted with paper and a pen. And if you were born, or took notes in class with paper and a pen, if you were born after this year, you did all of your interactions with language in written form or on a keyboard. And the only thing you'd use a pen for was to like write something on a Post-it note and pop it on the fridge. And so kids now you don't buy pencils. So what do kids do in school? Do they do that anymore? So they interact with keyboards all the time.
So the fine motor skills are still developed through writing, but I don't think that like writing with your hand is really the focus of getting information across anymore. Right. So, you mentioned the year, 5-year span. I think I was born in it, 1998, where like, I want to say until like 2nd or 3rd grade, which would have been like 2003 or 2004, most stuff was handwritten. But when I got into late elementary, late primary, and then into middle school,
right,
everything was typed.
Yeah. And that's how it was turned in, right? You turned it in on some sort of email or a platform, or you emailed it to your teacher, or there was a Google
USB
Drive or something
drives.
like that. Yeah.
So it became exceedingly rare in my education that I wrote stuff down, and in the way that you would describe it, like literally pen with like a Post-it note was like quick. Like to me, it was like quick and dirty detail. Like, oh, I got to remember to.
It was very interesting, Keegan, to work in a company that supplied the paper industry, because as soon as business computers and office computers and personal computers became a commonplace tool in offices, people were predicting the death of paper, and it didn't happen. It didn't happen for like 20 years. If anything, people bought more paper, because what would happen was, if someone my age, so even if you were maybe, crafting it on the laptop, actually, no. When I started working as a lawyer, you would write out your first draft longhand and you'd bring it down to the word processing department, and someone would type it all into a document. And then rather than reading that on a screen, they would print it out on paper. And you would bring it back to your office, and you'd revise it with a pencil on paper, and you'd line things out, and you'd add stuff that you would write it all out by hand. You would mark it up by hand for years. Even when I, stopped working in a law firm, that's how I interacted with documents. You would always print it out first, and you would interact with it that way, and then it would go back into the computer, and then that would get processed back into electronic form. But most people my age wouldn't interact with it in electronic form. You would print it out on paper, and even when, as late as when I was getting ready to retire, there was still a guy on our board. He was the chairman of the board, and you couldn't send him anything. The board books at that point were completely electronic. Everything was online. There's no reason to show up with paper. You just open up your tablet or whatever, and you can follow along. You can read everything. You can take notes on it. You don't need paper. And he was of that age where he needed to have a physical hard copy printed out on paper in a binder, and he'd read it that way, and he'd make notes with a pencil.
Old school.
But all of that changed, because then people started showing up in these offices that didn't need stuff printed out on paper. They would do all of their creation on the screen with a keyboard, and all the editing on a screen with a keyboard, because it's way quicker and it's way faster and it's way easier, and they have spell check and all this stuff. So once that happened, consumption of office paper just fell off. It fell off completely.
Are you
People
are you a good
used
speller?
I've always been a good speller.
You're a good speller?
Yeah.
I suck. That might be maybe one of the faults of going electronic really early in life, is like my spelling is definitely underdeveloped, where I rely on spell check and like the suggested word that I'm typing as it's being typed to correct me.
Which is fine. I mean, good spelling is, spelling is just, a convention at the end of the day. And the fact that, we judge young people by how well they spell, as opposed to, has the information been conveyed?
Right.
Has it been conveyed if the same information has been conveyed and the words are misspelled, it doesn't matter, right? It's what we bring to that. We view that as a sign of a lack of education or a lack of intelligence, and and often it is, because I would never send out a document to someone, at my age, that had words that weren't spelled correctly. It would just, I don't want to risk giving the impression that some people are going to honestly, get. But one last anecdote, and then I've got, I had given myself an hour and a half for this slot, Keegan.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
'Cause I got to get up early to get my meats roasting in the oven so I can serve lunch at noon. So for church, I'm like the senior warden at our church, and at one point we were doing some construction on the church property, and we needed to run a power line under the parking lot. And to do that, the power company needed to put in like a box so they could handle, drawing power off the grid from this new particular spot. And they needed to put it, that was going to go on our property. So they needed, an easement from us, which is a legal document. And it basically says, we're granting the power company the right to have a box here, and we're not going to fuck with the box or, take it down. And it's all legal. And you record that with the Register of Deeds so everyone knows that that box owned by the power company is allowed to be on your land. But in order for it to get recorded, you need the legal description of the land. So, right? This is a church.
Sounds like
that's
a
been
nightmare.
around. This is a church that's been around since, the 1600s. And all of these parcels are like, some of them go way back, and some of them were deeded to the church like way, way, way back. So I had to go to do research. The town clerk said, yeah, we don't have stuff that old. We had to go to, there's basically a club here. It's called the Portsmouth Athenaeum. And it's like there are books there. They're full of books and old, documents. And you join, and you can go and you can check out books, and you can sit in the reading room and look at busts of Homer and feel all smart. But they are an archive. They had an archive of all of these church documents. Some of them are 300 years old. And they had all these deeds, these original handwritten deeds for various parcels. And I found the one that I had to find. And the thing that struck me the most about it is it was written by a lawyer. So he was an educated guy, and he's writing out this thing longhand. And he doesn't spell the same word the same way twice.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, and I spent a lot of time thinking about it, and it's just like there were so people who wrote back then. There were so few people who even read. So it was like a professional class. And I checked, and it was even before Daniel Webster, Daniel Webster, or his brother, I guess, published the first dictionary of American English. So standardized spellings. There used to be a time when standardized spellings didn't exist because they didn't need to. They didn't need to. And people would think nothing of like writing a document, and the word was, I don't know, harpoon. And the first time they'd write it Harpon. And the second time would be Harrpone. And the third time would be Hairpo, because they all sound like harpoon. And you read it and you say harpoon, and you know what he's talking about. He's talking about a harpoon. And it doesn't matter how it's spelled, because he's talking about a harpoon, because you're immediately able to conjure up, the word that comes out of people's mouths all the time when they point to that sharp thing that you stick inside a whale. It's a harpoon. And people didn't need to know how to spell the word harpoon for centuries, because you just, talked it. It came out of your mouth. So I thought that was wild. So it wasn't until somehow we felt the need for, large tomes with lists of words that tell us not only how to correctly spell them, but what they actually mean, which is another topic we can talk about, because those meanings, that's not fixed. There's not like a God that tells you what the word means. People say we're going to go to the dictionary like it's the Old fucking Testament. And even the Old Testament isn't the Old Testament. It was written by people. But as if somehow, if you're doing it a way that's different, or if you're using the word in a way that's different than how it's described in this book, then you're doing it wrong. That whole concept of thinking is just, it's new. It didn't exist 200 years ago. And it's basically wrong. If you can convey your meaning, use any words you want, spell them however you want to spell them. And that should be the test of whether you're communicating effectively or not. That's been a revelation to me late in life.
Beautiful. Beautifully said as well, I will say. You communicated the information no matter how you spelled it.
I think I misspelled it correctly in my head several times, and I saw, and the word harpoon was green, and it had a red slash through it.
Yeah. Maybe it tasted like a car horn. All right.
Now,
good night, everyone.
There's like blood spurting out of the whale. All right,
thank
dude.
everyone for listening, if they indeed still are. And I appreciate
I'm still listening.
you're still listening.
I'm still here.
I appreciate a lot of that. We got a lot of support. A lot of
Did we?
more people
How we
than I.
doing?
Dude, at the wedding, a lot of family and friends came up. They're like, hey, you guys are doing great with that. Keep going." And I was like, "Wow,
Oh,
you're all
sweet.
listening to it."
That's great.
I try not to get hooked on views and hooked on engagement, but
No.
it's yeah. The
I
people
shared it with
listening
some
really
people
like
because
it.
I'm like, hey, check out, and they're like, okay, send me the link, and then I have to like find it. But I've only shared episode 2 because I thought it was much better than episode 1. So that's just me.
Hey, that's episode 1. We're getting it under our belts. We're understanding what we're doing, but I want to thank everyone for listening, and I get excited. This has been an exciting part of my week, and I get thrilled. So,
Here.
I hope everyone has a good morning or afternoon, or if you're falling asleep to this, I hope you have crazy dreams where car horns are red.
Yep. Be kind to your pets. All right, man.
I will. I'll talk to you soon, and that's it for me.